Now, before I let you go, help us with this. Not all of us are economists, not all of us understand how to read information and how to determine whether it's reliable. So when we're faced with statistics like this, especially let's talk about the ANAs, and we see these massive improvements, what do we need to do to make sure that we're reading accurate information, and how do we discern the good from the bad?
Okay, so I think there are two things that you can do. The one is it's good to just have a healthy dose of skepticism when government is claiming improvements. So as researchers, what we do is we say we want evidence-informed policy. That's the one thing. We also want evidence-informed claims. So when there's a claim of an improvement over time or a deterioration, and it doesn't only have to be in education, it could be in health, it could be in employment, etc. It's say, what evidence is this based on, and is that evidence legitimate to be making this kinds of claim? The kinds of claims that are being made. And what we're saying, as experts in the field of assessment, is that the claims that are being made here about improvement are completely at odds with the evidence that's being used to make those claims. So one of the things that I talk about in the article is that the department has this council of experts, local and international experts, who are never named in the report. One of the things that I say in the article is these people must come forward and they must say if they think that the ANA results are comparable over time, because there's not a single educational expert in the country or internationally that would back the ANAs and say that these are comparable over time. And if the department has one of these experts that believes this, they must come forward and say it so that we can see what evidence and what rationale and justification they're using. Because everyone's looking at this in the field and saying this is ridiculous, these kinds of changes can't happen. So the one is a healthy dose of skepticism. And then the second one is to just rely on actual experts. So there are experts in the country, people predominantly in universities, that have been saying, we've been saying it for the last 2 years, that these tests aren't comparable. It really, really irks me when journalists just regurgitate the information that the department gives them to say, oh, there was an increase from 24% to 51% in Limpopo, when we would be like, this is absolutely impossible that those kinds of changes happen. Or that you can go from 68% to 59% back up to 68%. I mean, even just a skeptical person would be like, that seems really strange, that the results can drop so quickly and then rise so drastically over time. So I think one is a healthy dose of skepticism, and the second one, and evidence, looking at the legitimacy and the quality of the evidence. And the second one is to actually ask the experts in the field whether or not they believe it, because at the moment there are no experts in the field that believe these increases in the ANAs.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.